followed after Christian as he climbed up the hill of difficulty. I perceived that he stopped running and started crawling and clambering on his hands and knees because of the difficulty of the place. Now, about halfway to the top of the hill there was a pleasant little lay-by, made by the Lord of the hill for the refreshing of weary travellers. And when Christian got there, he sat down to rest. He pulled out his roll from his bosom and began to read it and got comfort from it. He again looked at his clothes, those garments given to him by the angels at the cross. And after a while, thinking about these lovely things, he fell into a sleep, a deep sleep. And it kept him there until it was almost night. In his sleep, his roll fell out of his hand. Now, as he was sleeping, there came someone to him and woke him up and says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. You lazy person, consider your ways and be wise." And with that, Christian jumped up and ran on his way at great pace until he came to the top of the hill. Now later on, he went to feel in his jacket for the roll that the angel had given him, so that he could read it and be comforted, and he couldn't find it. He was greatly distressed and didn't know what to do, because he wanted the roll to help him, to encourage him, and he knew that he needed it to get into the celestial city. He got very confused and didn't know what to do. He thought to himself, "Oh, I slept in that arbour, I slept in that lay-by on the side of the hill." And falling on his knees, he asked God for forgiveness for that foolish act and went back to look for the roll. All the way he went back, he was full of sorrow. Sometimes he sighed, sometimes he wept. Often he chided himself for being so foolish as to fall asleep in that place that was put there only for a little refreshment. Well, we're out, hiding from the rain again. In Pilgrim's story, he describes how things started to get very difficult. And this hill of difficulty, and sometimes in life things do get difficult and we need a rest, and God gives us a rest, and it's great, it's nice. God knows that we're weak people, and he gives us rest. And the problem is not that he had rest, but that he continued to rest, and actually he became quite lazy. And that's a great danger. God gives us rest, but we can turn it into an excuse to do nothing, and we can become really very lazy. I think in these recent days we've had a chance to rest from the manic busyness of life. And when we come to times of the year such as Christmas and summer, we get legitimate breaks, and then in our spiritual lives, after a time of difficulty or conflict, we get times to be refreshed. The danger is that we then stop, that we don't move, and that we turn what is a grace from God, a goodness from God, into license to do nothing. Well, it's always disastrous, and we're challenged. And Bunyan challenges us. You know, he must have thought about times in his own life when he stopped, and he should have kept going, and then had to go back and redo many of the things he had done before to begin again on that journey. Well, in your life, I pray that you're refreshed, and I pray that you're able to continue on faithfully to do God's will, to stay on the narrowed way even through times of difficulty. For God upholds us and strengthens us, and he knows our weaknesses, and he does not give us anything more than we can actually handle or deal with. Well, with those encouraging thoughts from John Bunyan and those warnings in our ears, pray that you'll have a good day. From me, my little friend, God bless.